This is show 115. And today we have another returning guest, Mr. Aaron Taylor, the real estate guy here. It's a timely time to have you on, of course. Beautiful, Max. It's a great time to have you on right now because obviously with the whole situation around the country right now, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on how to do real estate, how to conduct your real estate business during this time where, you know, people are being pushed to stay at home and not go outside and not be in contact with people. So we're going to hear your thoughts here on later. I'm excited to get your take on it and then the mindset behind what you're thinking about right now. But before we get into that, Ruth, what's happening in Las Vegas this week?
Oh, lots of things going on. To date, there's 963 transactions in the top 10, and 71% of those are iBuyers.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's 681 of those transactions were done by iBuyers. And of the top 10, interesting, the 5 of those are the iBuyer platforms. And if everybody knows, iBuyer stands for instant cash. So there's those many buyers out there that want instant cash. However, when you take out the iBuyers and you look at the actual agents, Aaron Taylor, the real estate guy, is number 3 in the top 10 of just the agents. So congratulations, Aaron.
Fantastic, Aaron. There you go.
You're going to have to tell us how you do it soon. But anyway, I'm sure that you've got lots to say about that. So if you look at the total sales to date this year, there's 7,634 sales. And that iBuyer represents 13% of the total. So, that's not too bad, right? We can live with that. Mm-hmm. And I just want to give a shout out about the interest rates. They're 3.23. And what does that mean? Of course, it means that a new buyer can buy more home and have less of a payment. But it also means something else. It means that with that low interest rate, more equity goes to your home with each payment.
Exactly right.
And so if you look at that, the average home, then you would get $5,566 in annual principal deduction. So that's money in your pocket that you didn't even earn. It was just because 5% of our annual appreciation or our annual principal deduction is $5,565. And then if you look at the equity you're going to get, because the annual appreciation is 5%, you get $16,700. I mean, that's just incredible to me. And if you divide that by 12, you're getting $1,391 a month in appreciation. Wow. So you add the $1,391, and let's see, we have to do some quick math here.
There's a lot of math for Saturday morning, Ruth.
I know, but people have to hear it,
Aaron and I are okay.
Stuff.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
They have to hear this stuff.
For sure. Well, that's why you give the stats, for sure.
Yeah, I know. But the bottom line is the average rent in Las Vegas right now is $1,654 a month. And you are throwing that money away instead of putting all that money and more in your pocket. So Absolutely. If you have renters that are on the fence or indecisive right now, I think with these stats that you can perhaps show them, because people like to see the numbers. I know it's a lot of information for 9 o'clock Saturday morning, but
I was just joking. Absolutely.
People like to see, you can tell them, but if you show them, sometimes it resonates more. Yeah. And when I was doing these numbers, I got really excited about it. But the average home today is $334,000. And here's an interesting stat, Aaron, that you might like. There's actually 106 sales going on every day in Las Vegas. And there's 26 new home sales going on every day in Las Vegas, and 72 rentals are being rented for a total of 204 transactions every day in Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
So that's per day. And so That's 5,235 plus per month transactions that are going on in this city every month, which means there's lots of movement, lots of people moving here. And I just think that we're still in a great market. And I know we're going to be a little bit affected, and we're going to listen to Aaron tell us how he thinks the future is going to roll out the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm done
Aaron,
with my stats, everybody.
Yeah. Those are great stats. I wrote some notes down. What do you think, Max?
as far as what?
What she said. Do you have any? Hey, I think, you know, of all those stats you said, there's a couple that hit me the most. One of them was that iBuyer companies are 13% of total to date transactions. However, this month they're 71%. Well, that tells me a few things. That tells me that iBuyer companies see what's going on with our coronavirus, not just as a negative, but as an opportunity. And they're still purchasing homes, and they're probably getting them at a lower amount because those people see there's a fear in people. I better sell my house. I'll take it. I'll take the offer because I don't know what's going to happen in a week or 2 or 3 weeks. And these companies are still buying homes. So, and then the traditional buyers, I see them kind of holding off a little bit over the last couple days. And it's wild how what's going on in our country right now in our city, it's a day by day thing. Like every day something else happens that's really affecting everything. And so the traditional buyers, I think, are just holding off. So that's where you see the iBuyers taking advantage. So that kind of stuck out in my mind. I believe that that agents, like in everything they do, they have to have a script. They have to have a comeback, and it better sound intelligent, right? If you're gonna, and you better own it, not just say, "Oh, we'll be fine in 2 weeks. Don't worry about it. Everything's great." I think that people deserve a better answer than that. I've been getting. Even this morning, I got a couple calls already, but every day I'm getting several calls from people going, "Aaron, what's your take on this? Aaron, what should I do? Am I panicking?" And I have a very simple solution, and I may be wrong, but this is just my opinion, and we all have one, correct? So this is my opinion on what's going on with the real estate market. I think that you have, Disneyland that closed, you have the NBA, the NHL, all the schools, everybody's going to close. And I think a lot of them are nightclubs in town, restaurants. And I don't think they're doing it because of panicky necessarily. I think they're doing it out of responsibility. They're doing it because, well, if I don't, I'm going to look bad, and I don't want to be sued if someone does catch this in my establishment.
Right.
So I better follow suit, right? So everybody's following suit. And I believe what's going to happen in a week or two is, I don't care if you're a billionaire, a millionaire, or a dollarnaire, whatever you call it, you're going to feel the pinch eventually. And the media the media is going to work regardless what happens. They have their jobs. So if it's something really, really bad, man, they're going to hype it up. It doesn't matter what it is. They're going to hype it up because that's what the media does. Right? That's their job. Hype it up, create chaos, I wish they would do the opposite. When something is good happening in the earth and the world, I wish they would hype up the good stuff,
right.
But they don't.
Right.
So this pandemonia, they're hyping it up. Well, at some point, and I predict in a couple weeks, that these billionaires are going to feel the pinch. No, everybody has a certain amount of money that they like in their account. A billionaire is no different. If they're losing 5-10 million a day or more, at some point they're going to be like, "Oh, wait a minute here. This better slow down," right?
Right.
And I think that these high-powered people are going to talk to the owners of Fox and CNN and all these companies and go, "Guys, now you're affecting me at a personal level, and you need to stop. It's all this fake crap that you're putting out there. You need to stop. You need to start talking about the positive, the rebounding, the this." And that's my take on it, because when I look at the stats of this virus that's going on compared to, other viruses that we had. I mean, I know it's a little more serious than most, but it's not like out of hand. It's not, we've had 40 something deaths in the United States. We haven't had over 1,000.
Right.
And I'm sure a lot more people are getting it, but 80% of these people that are contracting this virus are like the common cold. 20% are like the flu. The people that have respiratory issues are people that are sick or elderly people. Just like the flu, those are the people that are really getting effective and dying. So it needs to be, the media needs to discuss this virus in a different light, and it's not the time for them to do it yet because they're still having fun, because that's what the media
Right. Absolutely.
But in a couple weeks, watch the turn, and then what's going to happen to the real estate market is our inventory is the lowest it's been since 06. Interest rates the lowest they've been than 06. Guess what's going to happen? Vroom! We're going to have an increase like we've never seen before, and it's not going to be based on doing loans without, no doc loans, non-conforming loans. It's going to be based on really the demand of not having houses and people wanting to purchase a home. And I believe that our median price, that's 316 right now, we're going to see a more of an increase than people expect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be in 2 or 3 months, like 330, 340. I mean, now this is just all my opinion, right? Everybody has one, but
yeah, absolutely.
When I talk to people, this is my take on it. What about you, Max? What's your take on what's going on?
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there. The reason why everybody is shutting down here is not because they're afraid that, people are going to get sick and die necessarily. But they're saying like, if everybody else is doing it, I'm the lone ranger that keeps everything going. And then something happens or there's a spread or whatever. And then since we live in a country where, we're very litigious in this country. I mean, the lawyers are all licking their chops right now, waiting for somebody to make a mistake here. And that's the unfortunate part of, the society that we live in. And that's why everything's happening right now. But I totally agree with you. There's going to be so much pent up demand here for all services, all types of, industry here coming on the other side of this. And you're absolutely right. If you get to know me, I'm a more of a conspiracy theory type of guy. And at one point or another, when a lot of powerful people with a lot of money start seeing their balances go down, and because of the effect, it'll be strange enough to know that, it'll be fantastic to see how the media changes its tune. But you're right, though. I've been telling Ruth, this is the age of misinformation, right? Because there's so many people with opinions, and we're doing it right now, but in a way where the people that understand how to monetize attention, unfortunately, because our human nature, we are more susceptible to, the fear of loss and the fear of danger. And we pay more attention to that because that's an evolutionary thing that's in our mind, within our brain, that we pay attention when there's danger. So when we talk about good things, we don't pay attention because there's no danger. There's no need to flight. There's no risk, for us to be tuned in. And so unfortunately, the media is doing exactly what it's doing. But this is going to pass at one point or another. And you're absolutely right. Once the media turns its tune. Right
now, the Disneyland Corporation, NHL, NBA, these big corporations right now, I believe that they're already having meetings on how to reopen. Mm-hmm. How are they going to come back? Because these guys are smart guys.
Sure.
$1 billion a month because they don't need any more money. It's a power thing for them. They want the world. That's and if they're losing money, that doesn't sit right with them. Absolutely. So they're all sitting down, even UFC, everybody. They're sitting down right now going, okay, when are we going to open? They already have that date. I'm telling you, they already have that date. And they're like, how are we going to come out with this? What are we going to say? What are we going to do to protect people coming in the perception of the eyes of our customers? Because there's nothing really, I mean, what are you going to do? Hand out hand sanitizer? Give me a break.
Right.
But you're going to come up with something are going to make people feel a little warm and fuzzy about going out to dinner, about going to Disneyland, about going to a basketball game. And they're already talking about it, guaranteed.
Well, yeah. Aaron, on a different note, when you look at the casinos, we went down to the Strip last night to have dinner with our friends. And we walked into the lobby, and it says, we have the right to take your temperature. And if your temperature is over 99 degrees, we will escort you out of the building. And then when we walked through the casino, we saw that they put 6 feet apart from every live slot machine, so that every 2 slot machines set out of service, and then the next one was in service, to put 6 feet between everybody who was playing the slots. And so, you know, and they just did that yesterday, along with, of course, they've canceled a lot of the buffets and things where people tend to congregate. So I think the casinos are doing, you know, their part as well, and closing some of the, Cirque du Soleil is going to close. So places where people congregate in a close proximity, I think that they're taking action to show concern and without having to close, at least at this time. And I don't think they're going to close. I mean, I was shocked to see that they could escort someone out. And actually, if you enter the building, you're agreeing that they can take your temperature. That was, I was impressed and amazed at that.
Maybe that's how maybe that's how like Disneyland reopens.
Yeah.
You walk through a scanner instead of scanning for metal, and maybe you walk through a scanner
for temperature, right?
No, but seriously, and you know, you never know. It depends how, you know, if it gets worse, or hopefully it won't, but if it does.
Well, here's the interesting thing, and I want to do that, and I want to kind of focus us on like what to do with real estate, because I have a couple ideas I want to ask you, Aaron, too. But this is when we go through this is going to be one, you know, next to 9/11. One of the most interesting studies of social engineering we'll ever see, right? I mean, if I'm thinking from the wars that we fight going into the future are not going to be with guns and you know, and tanks. It's going to be with, you know, cyber warfare and social engineering. I mean, how crazy is this? If we take a look at what happened during 9/11, right after that, right? An entire industry was shifted and changed because of it. And this is going to be the same thing too, but what a way for something to really play into the role of the media. I mean, this is propaganda at its best right now. If we take a look at it, if we step away from like, you know, the health risk that is being populated here, but from a propaganda standpoint, man, this is how you turn a nation. And then I think about this and I go, this is how Hitler went and rose into power, right? Because of this type of propaganda here. And we're experiencing right now, because this is what's happening in our country here. Is this message that, you know, the need for the media to continue to capture attention, because that's how they monetize their business, is now becoming an age where, you know, we're not getting factual information. We're not getting balanced information. We're just getting sensationalized information that like heightens people's fears and emotions. And it's going to be an interesting study. I want to, you know, hopefully a year, 2 years, 3 years from down the road here, the humanitarians and the social, you know, scientists relook at this, because this poses a real danger to our country. Not the virus is not as dangerous as the response and the fear. Talk about bringing an entire nation to a halt in a matter of like days. I mean, it didn't take months. It took like literally 2 weeks. In a span of 2 weeks, this thing escalated so big. And to your point here, I mean, one of the things, the danger of what's happening here too, is that the flip side is if some of these big guys, billionaires, the trillionaires here, they might take a look at this and go, this might be a fight against the Second Amendment too. I mean, what if they start shutting down media in general, like during crisis like this, you know?
Yes, shut that down.
Exactly. I mean, I'm in my mind, I thought about like, you know, if I was the president or if I have a government official, like the first thing I would do right now is like only like higher office people, only people approved by the president in time of emergency can get on the air and say anything, because there's a danger in what we're seeing right now.
So if I was one of those billionaires like Aaron's talking about, I think I would get together and go to the media and say, you know, just what you give them a plan, you know, stop doing sensationalism and get back to journalism.
Right.
Let's report the facts, and let's not report it in a doomsday scenario like they're doing.
Right.
So, and to your point, Aaron, which I hadn't thought about, which is really good, that the billionaires get together and they actually say, okay, we can't let this happen again. It happened now. We weren't prepared. Next time, this is what we're going to do to the media. And so kind of put them on notice.
Well, the owners of Fox and CNN and these major networks, they're extremely wealthy, and they hang out with the other extremely wealthy.
Right.
Yes.
And they're having conversations at dinner. And if you're doing something, Ruth, that's affecting my income, at some point I'm going to say, Ruth, you need to stop. I know. I mean, this is affecting my income now, and you have the ability to stop saying what you're saying. I'm going to ask you very nicely first to stop and make you see my point. And if you don't, well, then we go to the next level. Well, that's what happens with these guys. They're eating dinner, they're friends, but hey, they're affecting their income now. So they're going to tell their people, you need to put this in perspective.
Right.
You're getting carried away, and now you're affecting the food on my table.
And if I were an advertiser and the billionaires came to me and said, look, we're going to go to the media and we want you to stop advertising on the media that's
the outlets,
professing all this negativity and not reporting the facts. I mean, I just think something could be done about it.
Hey, Will, the point is going to at some point, because the media is driven by the advertising revenue. I mean, those advertisers are going to pull out. I'm like, why would McDonald's? Why would the NBA? Why would the MLB, NHL, and any Vegas outlets, the casinos, be advertising anymore? Because you're hurting our business now. And so at one point it'll hit a precipice. Well, those things will meet together. It'll be interesting to see.
Aaron, the ads are going to say, look, don't listen to the media, what you're watching. Listen to the facts and then have them report the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm doing speaking of advertising, I'm at 12:30, I'll be in the office doing a new commercial for TV. And I'm going to triple my advertising on TV. And my thinking is
everybody's at home.
They're at home and they're watching the news.
Right.
And these companies are giving me spots half price.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I might as well take advantage of it, but I got to be very careful what I talk about. I'm not going to mention the virus or anything that's going on. I'm just going to stick to the facts of what I'm doing to be successful and how we help our clients in the 3 steps, and just kind of stick to that. But I think, there's some opportunity there why people are not spending money. And I think I really believe that May, June, and July and August are going to be some of the best months, we've ever seen in our history of real estate.
Yeah. No, now is the time to do exactly what you're doing, Aaron, here, is to triple, quadruple your efforts here. Both from a marketing standpoint. One of the ideas I thought in my head is this is the greatest time in history to have social media available here. Because one of the things if I was a real estate agent right now, and my clients are not wanting to go out and seeing homes, I would start going, taking all the requests of all my buyers, right, and the ideal homes that they're looking for, and going out to these homes that are listed on the market right now or in these new home communities, and just doing walkthroughs and start sending it to people, texting it to people, creating a video that they can put online, and then private messaging people. I mean, this is the time to really capitalize on that, because as everybody is stunned in fear, the people who are running and working and putting the effort out right now, they're the ones that are going to come out of this thing just with gangbusters, like you say, with more business than they ever had. Because at one point, the world's going to get back to normal. I mean, and if it doesn't, then, I want to tell you both, I love you, and this is it, right? And we can't do anything about that anyways. But we're going to continue. There was a great quote from somebody I read online. If the world came to an end today, or a bomb hit us today, let us be doing the things that we normally do. Helping each other. Being productive. And not huddled together in the corner. And I'm butchering the quote, but it just reminded me it's time to really kind of hunker down and take this as an opportunity. I mean, these opportunities come very rarely, when fear grips people so much. It's the people who can take a step back a little bit and go, where's the opportunity here? Right. And how can I be more helpful and more productive during this period of time? And those are the ones that end up winning, like you, Aaron. I mean, after the financial crisis, I mean, look at the real estate business now. It's incredible.
Yeah. And the people doing open houses, I mean, they can do what you're saying, Max, and they can reach out to social media and do the open house online and target their audience. Hopefully they know how to do that and get the word out there that there's an open house. Or like you said, go to the new homes. There's all these new home developments. And like I said earlier, we're selling 26 new homes a day. So that means that there's people out there and they like what they see. So go and do videos of them and get your information out there and give value. So, and people, like Aaron says, people are watching right now.
Yeah. And do giveaways. Now's the best time to hit up restaurants and businesses and stuff like that. Hey, would you be willing to throw in a $25 gift card right here? I'm throwing an open house. I'm going to try to do a giveaway on, my stream here. Yeah. And this is how we come together as a community, right? And work together here. Because I know, local businesses are probably struggling right now, especially the Asian community here. One of the very first things I saw online was this was, and I didn't believe it at first, and now it's coming to fruition, is that just like 9/11 had the, obviously the Middle Eastern people being, discriminated against and feared against, and here now, we're seeing it in the Asian community. Is like people are more fearful about, being around Asian people, eating at Chinese restaurants or Asian restaurants. And it's pretty sad. It's crazy though. This whole thing just fascinates me so much because to understand how this came to play in such a quick amount of time is so fascinating. But but we got to combat that by just living our ordinary lives. Be careful, obviously. Take this situation very seriously. But
have you guys almost noticed that some people are actually thriving on it?
Mm-hmm.
Like they like the chaos. Like, I'm keeping my kids from school. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if they're open. They're not going to school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's like this was an opportunity for people to maybe be involved or say something or to latch on with all the other people. I've seen that. It's kind of odd that I see that. But I listed a house yesterday. I'm listing one today. I have an appointment tomorrow. We put a couple new homes in escrow. I think that we're doing so well, and we're going to continue to do so well because we work our real estate business correctly.
Mm-hmm.
We have a large group of people in our database, in our CRM, that are friends and family and past clients that know us and love us and ask us advice, and they believe what we say. So that's why it's very important to have, like, that spiel I told you about earlier about my take on what's going to happen. That's not the first time I said it. It's about the 100th time I said it. So you have to know what to say and how to come back at it. You better believe it too.
Right.
And if it doesn't, well, I'm a pretty positive guy anyways, but I honestly believe that that's what's going to happen.
Aaron, our market has increased, quite a bit, almost 10-15% this year from last year. So that tells you that people are in the mood to sell and buy. And if you just position them now, like you go after your sellers and, let's be on the market. So when this passes, you're there when people start looking, because people won't actually notice the difference until it reaches, like you said, a new record or whatever. But in the meantime, they're out there and they're in that stream of people who are going to be looking. So I think that there's I always find the positive in things, and I think that there is some positive here for our industry. I think that it's like you. I think it's just going to thrive and it's going to boom. We've already built up a lot of momentum, and now we're going to be building up a lot of pent-up momentum. So I'm with you. I think it's just going to rock, and hopefully, April or May, we'll see it. And I know you're saying May, but I'm hoping for April.
Human behavior too. We forget and move on.
Yeah,
we do. Right.
People, they file bankruptcy and they charge all their credit cards up and they pull all their equity out of the house. And then as soon as bankruptcy's over, what are they doing? They're getting another credit card. They're trying to buy another house, and everybody's taking out equity lines again. People forget really fast, and they're going to forget this really fast too when it starts to weigh on them and it starts to get old and it starts to affect their fun and their income, and it will pass.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is once we've gone through this, which is like this has never happened before, we can look back on it and use it and say, look, we're not going to look what happened back then. And it just ended up being too much sensationalism and not enough facts. And it actually ended up not being the huge pandemic that the media was, saying that it was. So I think that we can look back on it too and use it to our advantage as well.
Yeah. So one of the things that you want to be prepared with, we're probably going to have more numbers. The number of confirmed cases will probably rise. Not because this thing is like, tremendously dangerous. It's just because more people are going to get tested. This just like the flu, if we put a microscope on how fast the flu spreads during flu season, we would be in this panic too, because because it spreads pretty fast because it's a respiratory issue that is, communicable through the air and through touch and through human, contact. So it's going to be natural. I wish the media would just tell everybody to expect that. And that's not going to be something that's, too abnormal, because like anything, we're human beings that have to interact with others in some way, and that's going to be the case. But the thing to pay attention to is how many people are really being really affected by it, like from a mortality standpoint. And right now, no children have passed away. People under the age of 40, there's like a 0.4%, some super low number of getting of possibly dying. And the one thing that we're probably is concerning is our healthcare facilities right now. So if more and more people come out and just so if for people who are not, the funny thing about the way we've been educated in our country and just around the world about medicine and illness, one of the best cures, the only cure for a viral infection is the human body, the human's own immune system. These vaccines, if you look at what the flu vaccine is, and every vaccine out there is, it's what they're basically doing is introducing a lower dosage of the disease into your body so that your body builds antibodies against it. And so what's that tell you, though? That tells you that the human body is the most resilient and the only cure to any type of viral infection out there, because there's no medicine that cures it right now. There's no cure for the common flu.
Or the common cold.
Or the common cold. They just tell you to go rest and make sure you drink water and keep your fever down, because it's not the virus that kills you, it's the fever and the dehydration that ends up killing you, and the pneumonia. But interesting enough, like I said, this too shall pass. Expect and a little bit more bumpy rides here. I'm kind of disappointed because this is going to affect the NFL draft here in Las Vegas. It's obviously going to affect a lot of things here, but man, that was going to be some. What was that?
Did they cancel the NFL draft?
Not yet. There's no announcement yet. So it's in April.
When is that going to be?
It's April something.
April 23rd.
Yeah, it's going to be the later end of April. So hopefully by by that time.
And the train that goes around the Strip, they just announced that they're going to be holding weddings on the train, and they're going to be providing all the things that go with the weddings. And so despite all this, the monorail marriage madness they call it, and it's inside the Sahara monorail station, and couples will find wedding accessories, veils, hats, bow ties, sweet treats, champagne, and then they're going to host the event on the monorail. And they're moving forward with this, and I think that was a positive thing to do. We'll see, but I don't think that we can just shut down.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I thought about real estate too is like, like to your point earlier, Aaron, is like now's the time to like for buyers agents, especially this may be a little pocket of window time the next 30 days here where new home builders, because they're not getting traffic into their, sites,
That's a good point.
listings, right? This is a time to probably be able to negotiate, a lower price in a really hot market right now. And for the people, I mean, I would be picking up the phones, using text, using video, and reaching out and educating people and your clients here that are looking for homes right now. This is going to be this small window before it booms again, where you can probably get an extra, $10,000 off on a listing.
You have to look, you have to look beyond your face.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with people.
Right.
In front of them. You have to look a little farther out and see what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, think about it. Whether it happens or not, if it doesn't happen and you make some good financial decisions, you're going to come out looking good.
Absolutely.
If it happens, you're screwed anyways.
Yeah, that's right? Exactly right.
If what happens, everybody's panicking about, everything's going to shut down, the economy's going to go to crap, if no one's going to have jobs. Well, if that happens, it ain't going to matter what you do right now.
Exactly.
So you better plan for the best, because more than likely that's what's going to happen.
Right.
Is the best. So I'm anticipating a great year, a good next month. We're having a record-breaking month this month. The people around us are buying and selling, and they're not in fear, because this is the energy and what we're putting out.
Yeah.
It's a little bump. So and the rates, I even hear that the rates spiked up a little bit. I think the rates went up because I heard so many refis that Bank of America, Wells Fargo stopped it. They will not take any more applications. They're overloaded. Did you hear that?
Yeah. So they're actually raising rates to slow it down, to slow the amount of applications down.
You have to raise rates. But I hear they might drop back down a little bit, probably in a couple weeks or so. They'll probably drop back down again. But what a great time to purchase a home right now. Jeez.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to get, with 30 days ago or a month and a half ago, rates were at 30-year fixes over 4%.
4.5%.
Now, right. 4.5%. Right. And now they're at 3.25%, 3.125%. I mean, that's literally probably an extra $400 or $500 a month that you can qualify for just because the rates go down, So, I mean, it's
an investor and you want to owner occupied rate. I just refied one of my investment properties that I had a loan on to 3.9.
Wow.
And it was an investment property.
Right.
I went from 5.5 to 3.9. I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
Right. And that's just more money in your pocket to eventually be spent somewhere. And that's what's happening right now is Americans, especially if the government steps in here, potentially with this payroll holiday like Obama did in 11 and 12 to kind of spur the economy again. I mean, that's going to be additional funds in people's pockets, to help them pretty much ignite the recovery here in the latter half of this year.
Investors should really take a good look at this too, because Ruth's comment she made earlier, I think did she say 70 something people are renting a day?
Yes.
Something like that.
72 renting a day.
Yes, over 2,100 a month. And regardless of what happens, people are going to need places to live and rent.
And Aaron, I put this on my Facebook page. If somebody buys a home now with the interest rate, the average home of $334,000, the payment's $1,451. You get $522,633 in equity over the 30 years. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the payments, and then you get all that equity. It's just incredible if you look at this chart.
That's not even counting appreciation, is it?
Pardon me?
That's counting appreciation in there.
Yeah, like the first year, it's a little bit less than $500 a month. The second year, it's $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year going toward the principal. Not even talking about the appreciation that we have. So it's just an incredible time. And like I said, if you have the facts, I put this on my Facebook page. You can also get it on the on your Agent Formula website under the financing tab with the mortgage calculator. And it's a lot prettier, and it shows the whole amortization. But I mean, people need to think about this because, this is the people are staying in their homes longer, right? Aaron, you would know that. You're out there, listing homes. Aren't they staying in their homes longer?
I see a lot more people remodeling their home instead of, they like their area, their neighborhood, their community, and they just can't get that someplace else, the maturity of the landscape. So they're just maybe throwing a little contemporary, modern into their home, make it a little more transitional, and staying right where they're at. So I see a lot of that. I mean, we did that with our house. We just remodeled it. We're remodeling our master right now, and because we love our neighborhood and our yard and our pool, and we're happy. So.
Yeah.
But if you get any ideas, people, we want you to sell that out.
If I was in my 20s right now, like graduating from college, I mean, this would be the best time to house hack, meaning like getting a bunch of people, like 2-3 people together to have roommates. I would buy a house and have like 2-3 roommates right now with the rates being so low. It's one of the best times to do that, man.
Yes.
It's so crazy right now.
Yeah. So. What an investment they have.
Right. I mean, if people, especially in areas like California, when you're paying, $1,400 doesn't even get you a studio apartment somewhere, right? And do it here and here in Vegas. I was looking the other day on 2-bedroom apartments here in town, and it's $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 for 2 bedrooms, and 1 bedrooms are over $1,000 now. So it's not like, I mean, you're getting close to being able to buy a house at that point,
So I just did the math. So if you're in that house, if people buy a house, and in 5 years they've got 30,000 that went down in the principal, that's equity, and then 90,000 in appreciation.
All right.
So that's 120,000 those guys can split, or gals can split in 5 years.
Right, in 5 years, right? I mean,
it's incredible.
And at this rate, they can, even if they don't want to split it or if they don't want to sell, I mean, they can continue to rent it out, the way they have it. So it's one of the best times to be in real estate right now. And it's time to go on the offense. As everybody's reeling back right now, this is the best time to go on the offense, because people are reeling back, and the real estate agents and just business owners, who are strategizing right now to really take advantage of this are going to come out on top. So any last words? Yeah.
We have a commercial division now of our company.
Yeah.
We've always did commercial real estate over the years, but now we put together a team and are a little more proactive, and it's going fantastic.
Okay.
Some commercial listings. We do commercial warehouses, stores, supermarkets, commercial leases, strip centers. So commercial, with the rates being where they're at right now as well. I mean, I have a couple listings that you can get an 8% cap rate on these, which is incredible.
That is incredible.
So, yeah, the commercial part we're having a blast with.
Yeah.
We have to talk about that one time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the next show or something like that when you come back.
So at the training center, I'm going to segue a little bit to a different subject here. At our training center, every Tuesday, Erin does the lunch and learn. And if you want to see the schedule, go to b.vegas, bee.vegas, or LasVegasAgentFormula.com, and we have a great schedule. I'm going to show you here real quick. In April on the 30th, in March on the 30th, we start the first social media class. And then Aaron has his lunch and learn on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we have the second social media class. And on Thursday, we have the third one. And then I want to just tell everybody that on Friday, April 3rd, we're starting our Pathway to Masteries, which is Brian Buffini's course, and Jimmy Dagg and I are mentors, and we're going to start that. It'll be 9 weeks of training every Friday from 10 to 1. So we have lots of things going on. Go to b.vegas or go to LasVegasAgentFormula.com. If you go to b.vegas, it'll take you straight to the training page. If you go to LasVegasAgentFormula.com, you'll also see a training tab. You click on that, you'll see all of our training. And next Friday, we're doing a 3CE class on law and legislation, which is a required class. It'll be from 10 to 1. So there's always something going on in our training center. And if you can't be there, we live stream it on our Agent Formula Facebook page. So if you can't be there, you'll get to see it anyway. And it'll just be like being there because it's like a live webinar. We've set up our training center is now like a TV studio. So that's fun.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Aaron, any last words from you before we end the show today?
Well, I would just continue to work and be positive and plan for an incredible outcome in a couple weeks because this will pass like everything else. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and in the meantime, you guys have a wonderful week. Thanks for having me on your show. I always enjoyed coming up, especially when Ruth always says, "Aaron, you're number 7. Aaron, you're number 8." Aaron. All
right. And when the goings get tough, the tough get going. So everybody get out there and just sell your heart out and give value and let's be the fantastic professionals that we are. And we're always here for you, right, Aaron?
We are.
Exactly right. All right, everybody.
And Max,
have a great week.
You.
Yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.